Well, I just stopped for dinner, and I went to a place that I love to go to when I come through here. This is the exit I just left on I-40 is where Loretta Lynn's kitchen is. Loretta Lynn's got like this huge, it's really cool campground. But the place I stopped to eat is called the Log Cabin. I think it's been there since 1968. And it's a wonderful comfort food place. You can get catfish there. You can get all kinds of stuff. I had a wonderful meal with, you order your main course and then you just get to pick 3 vegetables. And yeah, it was really good. You don't go home hungry from the Log Cabin. There's a catfish restaurant across the street that I haven't tried. I'm not a catfish guy, but I think it's probably pretty good. There's a place called Darlene's that she does hair over there, and there's a wrecker service, and there's a kind of a big truck service place here. So we're out in the middle of nowhere. We're west of Nashville, heading towards Memphis, and when you get past Nashville heading west on 40, you kind of got to eat when there's something to eat, because it gets real lonely after a while. There's not a lot going on. And so that's kind of the stretch that I'm in right now. This is the stretch that my friend Mark Humphrey, the AP photographer, he loathes driving this. And he's the AP guy in Nashville. And of course he has to go over there for sporting events and stuff like that. He's not a fan of this section of 40. It's pretty boring. And unfortunately, it's longer than the section I just did, which is only 175 miles from my home in Knoxville to Nashville. So I'm on the other side of that. The TDI is doing awesome, man. This thing is just, they're a beast on the road. I'm used to a little hybrid with no pickup, and this thing, you just got to keep your foot out of it. It's amazing. I've averaged 39.4 miles per gallon. I've been averaging 77 miles an hour. That's what I've been setting cruise at. And let's see if I can tell you something else here. Let's see here. I have a range of 265 miles to go to empty, which means when I stop to eat, I didn't have to get fuel, because these TDIs just sip fuel. They're so efficient. I've already driven 278 miles. So if you take 278 and add it to 265, you get well over 500 miles on a tank. This thing only holds 14 gallons. So I love the TDIs. They're fantastic. When you step on the gas real hard, they don't burn black smoke. They're extremely efficient and they burn pretty clean. It is a diesel, but I really like these cars. It's also a great car because it's a wagon, and as a photographer, I can pack all kinds of stuff in here and be loaded for bear without taking my truck, so I can get really good fuel economy as I go. And one of my dreams this summer and fall is to start doing workshops again, and I'm hoping that that's possible, in-person workshops. The Zoom thing is okay, but it's not getting it done for a lot of people, especially if you're trying to show somebody how to do something difficult that takes a lot of skill and patience, like lighting or something like that. It's hard. So I'm hoping that this will be a really good vehicle to pack full of gear and go do workshops on video or sports photography or whatever. Probably lighting, though. That's my main thing. So as I said earlier in the first episode, I absolutely love driving west. Driving west is just better than anything else. It's just awesome. I feel so good when I'm heading west in the United States. When I turn back to the east and it's time to go home, I feel bad, because I love the mountains out there. I love the terrain. I love the dry air. Where I'm headed in Arizona is kind of mid-state to northern Arizona, so it's not going to be hot like in Phoenix. In fact, it's going to be much colder than I'm used to in Tennessee, but that's okay. Be good to see family up there and stuff. So I'm going to probably do one more installment before I quit for the night, and I'm hoping to push well into Arkansas. Hey, I'm back. I just thought I'd give you an update. So far today, I've driven almost 700 miles. I've got 691.8 miles on the clock since I left Knoxville at about 2:30 in the afternoon. It's about 1:45 in the morning Eastern time, but I've already driven through that, and I'm in Central Time. I've been in Central Time most of the day. The car has been doing awesome on mileage. There's a lot of wind today, and but I've been managing 38.5 miles per gallon with cruise set at about 77 miles an hour, which is phenomenal. I had that great dinner at the Log Cabin restaurant. I drove all the way out of Tennessee. I drove like 140 miles into Arkansas before I did gas, so that was kind of cool. I think I filled up at 486 miles today. So I love the TDI. It's a very solid car. It feels great on the road, and it's a road tripping machine, man. And anyway, what I'm trying to figure out tomorrow is I have this great relationship with Bedford's, which is a camera store. They operate primarily in Oklahoma and in Arkansas. And I'm going to try to hook up with Steve, who I work with very closely there tomorrow, but it's kind of iffy. I don't know what his schedule is, and it'll be Monday morning and whatever. So I'm going to be crashing around Fort Smith, Arkansas, which is about maybe 20 miles ahead. And I've been looking at Google about just crashing in a kind of a cheap motel. But I have to tell you, kind of funny story. I was always the cheapskate on the road, like on road trips, except I hang out with police officers all the time, and I'm in these cheap hotels all the time in Knoxville, and I'm seeing all the drug trafficking that's happening there, and all the addicts that get all together and they like steal money, whatever they got to do. They end up putting 6 or 7 people in a room, and I've been in hotels so many times for overdoses, and it's not a great place to leave your car parked. And so, because of my relationship with the police and being a chaplain over the last 5 years, I really kind of learned to avoid the cheap places. Don't stay in the cheapest place, because that's where they are. And so I'm kind of, Arkansas is pretty cheap anyway for motels, at least where I am. And you can stay in a place for under $50 a night. I'll be looking to spend about 70, and that should price me out of the tweakers. I should be I should escape the tweakers if I go with that. So that's my kind of tentative plan right now. I could keep going. I'm feeling really good. I could probably drive another 2 or 3 hours if I really had to. But you know what? I don't have to. So I'm not going to. And so I'm going to hang it up here in a little bit. 695 miles. It's about 40 degrees outside. It's been a really, really easy day. One of the great things about leaving on a big road trip on a Sunday is there's very little traffic. There's trucks and stuff on 40 all the time, but there's very little traffic. Now that'll all change tomorrow. So I've got some pretty good sized cities I got to drive through tomorrow. But my goal and destination in mid-state Arizona is about only 1,000 miles left. So probably what will happen is I'll have a hard day tomorrow, hopefully with a lot of stops and some interesting things to talk to you about, I hope. And then the last day will be easy. So I don't know how far I'll get tomorrow. It kind of depends on production, but I've never seen the Cadillacs in Amarillo. I think it's Amarillo. But pretty soon we're going to be merging with a piece of road that used to be Route 66. That'll be kind of fun. I've ridden my motorcycle out here many, many times. But when I do that, I'm usually on side roads. I'm usually not on the super slab, the interstate. So I don't know what we'll get into tomorrow, but I'm hoping to have breakfast or lunch or something with Steve Elkins from Bedford's. He's a real good guy, and I love the people at Bedford's. They're just good people. But we'll see what happens. I don't need gas, man. I'm like, 3/4 tank right now. In fact, it says that I can go another, with a 3/4 tank, I can go another 305 miles on this tank. So it's looking to me like I'll get to Arizona with 3 tanks of gas, which is pretty cool. I'm excited about that. Anyway, just one thought about the A1, the new Sony camera, just because I know some of you are like photo geeks, just like me. The one thing I've been thinking a lot about lately about it is that it's not so much that Sony made this incredible camera. I think the hidden news is that Sony figured out how to make a time machine. And I think what they did is they invented a time machine, and they just went to like 2035, walked into a camera store, plucked a A1 off the shelf, and then brought it back into this time. It's that advanced to me. I think the news isn't so much about the A1. I think the news is a time machine from Sony, because they figured out how to do that. I don't know how. It's amazing. But anyway, that's about it for me. I think I'm going to sign off and hopefully get this video out tonight in the hotel. Hopefully there'll be a decent internet signal so I can do that. Thanks for watching episode 2 of Have Shots Will Travel. Peace.